Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Rosten's Reviews. My name is Mr. Rosten, 7-4 social studies teacher here at BMS, and I am very, very excited to bring you episode number 7. That's right, episode 7. 33 weeks until summer vacation. We're moving in the right direction. We're right in the thick of the American Revolution, and things are going great. So let's jump into what we did this week in social studies, shall we? This week in social studies, we started off our day by doing a QFT. So if you remember, QFT stands for Question Formulation Technique. And I'm going to bring the mic just a little bit closer so that way we can make sure that I'm being heard, which I now am, which is awesome. So if you remember, the rules for making questions are simple. 1, you ask as many questions as you can, and you don't stop to judge, discuss, or answer the questions. You write down every question as it comes into your head, and last but not least, if you can't think of any questions, you write down statements or observations that you see, and then when we go into our small groups, you then will make those statements into questions. So here was the QFT prompt. You'll notice a couple of things. You'll notice that there is the Liberty Tree. We notice how we have the Stamp Act right here. We have a noose on the Liberty Tree. We have some angry colonists have tarred and feathered somebody. And then in the background, you'll notice that the Boston Tea Party is going on. So we had a lot of great questions come up. I just wanted to share a few with you today. What are they pouring? Why? That should be why are they pouring water off? What are they pouring into the water off the boat? My apologies. Why are they forcing the dude to drink water? Is that the Boston Tea Party? What are they doing to the man? And what are they pouring down that dude's throat? Yes, those are actual questions that were created. And let me tell you, those are excellent questions. So we did our QFT, and then we started doing some research on the different acts that Parliament put into place. So we had things like the Stamp Act, we had the Declaratory Act, and what we did is we read the act. We learned about what year it was issued, what goods were taxed, and then we put a quote from the actual act that would help us write our appeal paragraph for homework. And then we drew a picture or wrote some words to help us remember what the act was about. So talking about the homework, we wrote a appeal paragraph, which I have graded and put into PowerSchool, so make sure you check that out. Basically, I can't this move. We're going to make this move a little bit. Sorry. So we had our point, and our question was, which British act had the most impact on American colonists that led to the revolution? So I gave you the sentence starter. So if you look at our point, we had the British act that had the most impact on American colonists was, and you told me which act, and then you put because, and you gave your reason why it was the worst. For our evidence, we said our sentence starter was, according to the text it says, and then you use that piece of evidence from the act itself to help you prove your point, which leads us to our explanation, which is this evidence means. So you explain to the reader what the evidence means in your own words, and then how it proves your point with this proves, and you explain why this tax was the worst. And then for our link, we did in conclusion, and we restated our point. So we then moved on to the Boston Massacre, and during the Boston Massacre, we learned that it happened on March 5th, 1770. I gave you some background info, and we talked about the different perspectives that were had, right? We had the British perspective and the American perspective. And so your goal with this activity was to not only analyze the different pictures of the Boston Massacre, but was also for you to figure out which side created which. So did the Americans, i.e. the colonists, did they create it, or did the British create it? And so we did that, and we learned that 2 of them were made from the British and 2 of them were made from the American side. So we know that this one is British, this one is British, and these 2 are colony made. All right. Once you finished analyzing, we created a T-chart in our notebooks on the left side, because remember, right side is for Rosten, left side is for you. And we went through the similarities and differences between the 4 sources that we looked over. So we noticed that some similarities, there were similar colors for the sources. There was fighting between colonists and the British. all showed the same event. There was violence occurring, and then some differences. We had some are more gruesome than others. There was different angles of the event. The shading and the time of day was different for some of them, and each sent a different message. All right, and then today, some of you, I'm going to switch the scene so that way I'm back in the picture here. Some of you started our Crown or Colony simulation. So basically the simulation starts the day after the Boston Massacre. You're a 14-year-old named Nat Wheeler, and you have to decide which side of the revolution you're going to be on. Are you going to be a patriot and stick with your colonist side and rebel against the, crazy taxes, or are you going to be a loyalist and stick with Great Britain and the Crown? And it's a really cool simulation. We fill out a graphic organizer, and you're not only looking about what life was like during the time, but you're also looking for biases. And then at the end of class, we went over the different biases, and we'll go over that a little bit more next week. So that's what we did in history. We had an awesome week. We did a bunch of cool activities. There was a bunch of stuff going on, and I'm just really proud of all your effort. I hope you all enjoy your 3-day weekend coming up. Myself and my family are going to go spend some time with family. So I highly encourage you to do the same. Spend some time with your family, hang out, recharge the batteries, come back on Tuesday with 110% because Rosten is going to bring the heat in social studies next week. All right, friends, that's all I got for you this week. Episode 7 in the books. As I always say at the end of each week, be kind to one another. Peace be with you and with you. Mr. Rosten, out.